what you have is that you're trying to create a bay window track, and you'll most likely have purchased the 135-degree bend set or the 90-degree bend set. So the first thing to note is that the components that you might have currently, if you purchase one of our larger sets, you will have 2 master gearboxes, okay, just like that. Or if you purchased most of our sets, the smaller ones, you'll have 1 master and 1 sub gearbox, okay? All the parts, all the carriers that you have in the original set, make sure you don't use it. The original carriers won't be able to go through the bends because it doesn't have a pivot point. Also, the belt clips in the original box set, you also don't want to use it, otherwise it will get jammed into the set. Instead, everything you need is in the degree bend sets. You'll see that you've got a curve carrier here and you've got all of the belt clips here. So make sure you're using those for the curve track setup. Do not use the one from the original box. We're just going to put those away. The first thing you want to do is to connect your tracks together. It might be quite tight. Just like that. So make sure that there's no gaps between the bends and the track. You notice that the Allen screws there is just to tighten the track so that it locks into place. Do not over tighten because it's plastic. The screws are quite soft. So don't need to over tighten it. Just a little bit of force would do. Do not over tighten. About half a turn is more than sufficient already. So just about half a turn to just tighten the screws up just a little bit. So for the QL500 one-way side-to-side installation with a 135-degree bend set or a 90-degree bend set, the first thing you need to do is attach a belt clip to the end of the belt. Secure it using the locking teeth. Make sure that the locking teeth is inside below the belt clip, just like that. You should hear a click and it should be tightly secure. You can now dismantle the carrier piece. Make sure that you're using the curved carrier piece. Using a curved carrier piece help you thread the belt along the track. Just like that. On the other side, right now, you might have 2 options. Your set, if you have the larger sets, you might have 2 master gearboxes. Or if you have our smaller size sets, you're going to have 1 master gearbox and 1 sub gearbox. So just pick up one of your gearboxes and thread it through the belt. Just like that. Attach a belt clip, but this time make sure you don't lock it in yet. We will have to remove this belt clip in a second. So take the belt clip, using one of the pieces, help you thread the belt all the way through. Like that. Once it's out on the other side, you can remove the belt clip. Make sure that it's right against the track. Now, with the belt clip, make sure that it is flush right against the edge, just like that. So that it's completely flush on the edge. check that the gearbox is still fully against the track and that this belt clip is flush against it. And now you will have two options left here. Depending on whether you have two master gearbox in your box set or you have one master and one sub. If you have the sub gearbox left right now, you will need to count 20 teeth. Alternatively, if you have the master gearbox left over, you're going to need to count 22 teeth. So if you have the sub gearbox left, you will need to count 20 teeth. If you have the master gearbox, you're going to need to count 22 teeth. In this example, we're going to use the master gearbox, so we're going to cut 22 teeth. Once that is cut, attach a carrier piece. Make sure that the metal bar is facing towards the track. So that this track is gonna open from, is gonna move from, so this track is the curtains will move from this side to this side. So this is when it's fully opened. When it's fully closed, this carrier is gonna go right to the end. Thread it through your gearbox. Attach a belt clip. Secure it with the locking teeth. Using the other half of the carrier, the wheels facing away from the track. Secure the carrier using the screw. And the track is complete. If it's a little bit stiff, don't worry, you can perform belt tension adjustment later to make it smooth again. So next, add on the runners. Make sure the runners go on this side where the metal arm is facing that way. The runners should be on this side. Once you're done, loosen the belt tensioner. You don't need to dismantle it. Put it into the slot sideways and slide it to the allocated slot. You can now tighten and lock in that position. Repeat on the other side and lock into place. Your track might be smooth, or it might be quite stiff. You must check the belt tension or adjust the belt tension before use. There's a separate video to help you through that. Do note that a brand new 135-degree bend could be quite stiff. You can just run through it about 20 times if it's still really stiff. It shouldn't be. So if it is stiff, just run it through it about 20 to 40 times. Another thing is that if you notice any sort of misalignment in this joint area, You can use a file to make sure you smoothen out so that you don't have any sort of misalignment. Any sort of misalignment could cause a jam. So there is a separate video to show you exactly what happens if you do notice that there's some sort of jam around this sort of area. If the carrier does get jammed, most likely it's because there's a slight misalignment here. There's a separate video to show you. Just need to do a little bit of filing here and it will do the job.